Good evening, class. Good evening and welcome. I'm so glad to see everyone who's here today. Okay, so I was wondering, what kind of stories do you all enjoy reading in your spare time? Yes, in the back? History. What kind of history? Really? I hadn't even thought of that type of history, but yeah, that makes sense. Anyone else? Any other history buffs in here? The romance period. Yes, those can be fun. Any other types of stories? Romances? Yes. Westerns. Wow, that came out of left field. Personally, I like reading science fiction and fantasy. Does anyone know what science fiction is? Star Trek. Yes, that's quite right. Well, Star Trek kind of blends science fiction and fantasy together, but it's still science fiction. So science fiction is a type of genre of books or stories that ask the question, what if? What if aliens existed? How would that affect us on Earth? What would we do? How would we respond? What if we could travel among the stars? I think that's a common dream for quite a few generations. I mean, Galileo was looking up at the stars. What if time travel is possible? Now that's scary. What if you accidentally killed your own grandfather? Would you still exist if time travel existed? And could you go back to stop yourself? Or would that just make things even more complicated? Yes, I also like Doctor Who. So all of these are conditional. And today we're going to be learning about conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are sentences which use if or other conjunctions that implies that conditional status, like supposing, as long as, unless. Conditional sentences have two phrases, one which depends on it for it to be true, for it to come true. So for example, let me just write this up on the board here. Come on, marker, work. If aliens existed, they might fear us. Now, looking at this sentence from a grammar perspective instead of the meaning perspective, how does, from here, they might fear us, depend if aliens existed? Yes? That's right. If they didn't exist, they wouldn't be able to fear us. So in order for this part of the sentence to be true, this part of the sentence must exist. So they're very dependent clauses. And of course, because it's English and it's grammar, there are rules about how we put these things together. So there are actually 4 basic forms, and we're going to be focusing on the third form, which is the form that we use to speculate about past events. Now this form has a type, and if you want to write this down, it would be very helpful. So it is the word if plus the past perfect. I'm writing, and apparently I'm thinking about the next part, so I apologize. It's if plus the past perfect, comma, that comma is very important, would plus have plus the past participle. See, this is what I was thinking about. Don't get those two confused like I just did. It's not a good idea. So let me repeat since I messed it up. If plus the past perfect, comma, would plus have plus the past participle. Now, can someone tell me what a past participle is? Yes, at the back, verb ending in ed. Yes, but there is a caveat there. Does anybody remember the caveat? Yes, some verbs have different forms. That's right, like drive. Such as, of course, because I want to think of one, like to be. Here's a great one. I am, I was, remember? Oh, see it? Yes, exactly. So, when you're working with this particular form, you might want to review on your past participles and also the past perfect. make sure that you have the correct form. And if anybody has lost that handout, I brought some more just in cases. And if you have any questions, just speak to me afterwards. Or actually, let me rephrase that. Is there any questions on that? Is everybody, yeah, we're okay? Okay. Now, I want to go over this. If I had read the book, comma, I would have understood the lesson. I know I've gone through this. Yeah, going to class, you haven't read the book, completely lost. Not often, but sometimes you just run out of time, right? Exactly. Okay, everybody has this written down? Okay, good. Now, so there's that if word, very important. And then we have the subject, I. What's this? What's this? This had read. Well, read is that past participle, isn't it? What's the past participle of? Yes? To read, that's right. Now that is had. So had read is the past present. Had read is the past present. So it's if I had read the book. Now can anybody tell me what the book is? Direct object. Excellent. Then the comma. So now we know that we can have a direct object in this mess too. Comma. I would have understood the lesson. So this is the subject of the second clause. What's this? Would have understood. That's right. That's the format. There's the would plus have plus the past participle. And then the lesson is the direct object. Now, do we have any questions regarding this sentence? No? Okay. Excellent. Let's see if we can do this on our own now. So, we're going to build a story together in a circle format. So, you have to continue the story with whatever your neighbor said. So, what's going to happen here is I'm going to say a sentence, and then Judy here is going to re-say my statement, and then follow it on with another sentence that kind of makes sense. And we're going to go all the way around the class, and each one of you is going to create these conditional sentences to complete the story. Okay? Everyone understand? Justine, what are we going to be doing? Yes, but we have to use conditional sentences. Exactly. Okay, so let's start. So, if I hadn't petted a cat, I would not have sneezed. Okay, Judy. No, you don't have to say the whole thing. How would you put that sentence together? Like if you'd been saying that to a friend, if I hadn't petted a cat, I would not have sneezed. What would you say after that if you had a whole series of events? Yeah, exactly. If I hadn't sneezed, so you take the verb from the last clause and put it in. So if I hadn't sneezed, continue. If I hadn't sneezed, oh dear, you forgot your purse. That's perfect. Okay, Jeremy, if I hadn't forgot my purse, I would have paid my bill perfectly. Okay, Elijah, if I had paid my bill, I wouldn't owe them money. That's right. Continuing on. Yes, you could use that. Okay. So that's my 10 minutes. So I'll wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed my lesson example, lesson plan simulation. That's a word.